I guess it was '91. Coach Burns was the coach up here, and John Michaels was the offensive line coach, who was a former All-American at Tennessee. I remember John telling us this is one of the greatest places that I've ever lived. I've never locked my front door, And for me, being an inner city kid, I'm thinking, holy cow, I've got like 3 locks on my front door, you know what I'm saying, on every single door. So, I really appreciate Mr. Wolf, obviously Coach Zimmer, for giving us this opportunity to come up here and get better. We just got together. I guess I'll take Tad, hold this bag. My wallet's in. So, I really appreciate the opportunity for us to come up here and really, our goal is to, treat us just like we're one team that's just trying to get better, on both sides of it. We had just the players meeting there. I thought it went extremely well. I think everyone understands the goal, what we're trying to get accomplished. Now we've got to go out there and work against each other, and I look forward to it. So that's what I'm concentrating on. As far as our injuries, the 3 players, Smoot didn't make the trip with us. He's back rehabbing. Obviously, Ely Ankuz didn't make the trip. He's back rehabbing. Andrew Norwell is with us. You'll see him on the side. There's a couple other players that are limited. Taven Bryan, guys that are coming off. Their reps, may be limited, but you'll see them on the side working in practice. So it's good to have those guys back. And obviously it's good to be pretty healthy going into the second preseason game.
Doug, how did this come together today?
I reached out to Coach Zimmer when I saw the schedule and who we were playing, and asked him if he would be interested in it, and it was just basically a lot of conversations and a lot of talk, and then a lot of logistics. There's a lot of people behind the scenes, that work on the operations part of it that get it to go well. And up to this point, everything's been great. It really have. We're able. Coach Zimmer's opened up everything for us. We can obviously use the weight room, things like that. We have a locker room here, which we're able to change in. So it's not like, some situations where you got to change in your room and then go. And then, we appreciate the University of Minnesota giving us the opportunity to go, and we do our walkthroughs there. And not because we weren't invited here, we're invited as guests, but just because of the logistics, it's much closer to where our team's staying.
Part of this just due to the reputation of Mike Zimmer and the franchise here?
Excuse me? Part
of the reason you wanted to come here, just go along with Mike Zimmer's reputation, the reputation of the Vikings?
I think probably both. I think it's a question of, Coach Zim, I've known him for a while. I've obviously worked with his son when I was in New Orleans. I have a great deal of respect for what he does, and I have a great deal of respect for the players on this team. Watching them play last year, both schematically and their ability, I think it's a good sense for us to go out here. And a lot of times, you have players that, you don't know maybe if they should make your roster or not. And the preseason, when you look really at the reps in preseason, you do become limited in what you're trying to get accomplished. So sometimes you don't really get as good of a look as you want. And I think these 2 practices will give us the ability, to look at some of our players going against different types of players, whether it be height, range, speed, whatever it may be, and give us a better evaluation of, who's going to be on our 53.
Doug, did you emphasize on all of your players to play with the right sort of emotion and not kind of waste this opportunity with, silly penalties?
Yeah, we've done this before, obviously, and I've done it almost every year. I've been a head coach in this league. So, again, I've seen great results from it if it's done properly. I think our players understand that. I think when we went up last year and we did this with New England, I think they saw the benefits of that, how it helped us, and I think that they're obviously going into this situation the same way, that this will be very beneficial for us and helping us be a better football team.
Doug, will you wind up getting more work for everybody? Will there be more plays available for guys because of this? And
there'll be more work, and we've gone through who we need to see more reps with. So you'll see a lot of things with, whether it's teams or by position, that we'll be working through in the practices, different matchups that we may want to see, during the practice time. Some of those things you can't really get, in a game.
Doug, did you see Jones' comments from GQ?
No, Tad told me about it coming out because my focus has been trying to make sure that, we're ready for this and doing all of this.
When a player reaches out and speaks about players on another team, do you concern yourself with sort of what the rhetoric ends up becoming?
Right now, I haven't even put much thought about it. For me, as a a guy that had a cup of coffee in the league and played. I respect all the players that are out there, but like I said, I haven't looked at the actual stuff, and my focus right now is not on that. My focus right now is on our team getting ready to practice.
Doug, Rashad Hill was telling us how you were influential in his technique being developed in 2016 when he was with Jacksonville. What do you remember about coaching Rashad?
I remember I used to tell Rashad, if anyone breaks into my car, I'm going to blame you, because he was right from Jacksonville. But I really liked him. He did an outstanding job. He was very conscientious. A guy reminded me a lot of some of the players I'd worked in the past, as far as guys that were free agents, and really kind of the light kind of turns on for them, and you see them putting in the extra time and the extra work. I feel, fortunately for him, it doesn't surprise me that he's playing. Unfortunately for us, we were going through a coaching change, and I think he felt it was best to get somewhere where, he would know who the coach was. Obviously, I have the utmost respect for him. I love the kid. I call him kid. He's obviously a young man, but works hard, has good length. Bust his butt in practice every day when he was on the scout team and did those things. So he had the the ingredients to give himself an opportunity to play in this league. And when I put on a tape and I see it, I'm happy for him. I really am.
You said the Vikings' first preseason game for a first-team offense was about as good as you had seen. What is it about Kirk Cousins that allows him to sort of direct the offense so effectively?
I just think the leadership ability, the ability to distribute the ball, the ability to hang in the pocket, the accuracy. I mean, there's really not a lot that you're looking at that you're saying, well, hey, I think we might have a little bit of advantage here. He can escape. He's mobile. I have a lot of respect for him. I've seen him when he was doing it in Washington, and I don't know what's being asked of him here, but obviously what we saw on film, is a guy that's really playing well, and a whole team that's playing well. That's what I took from watching the game. I think, the preseason, it's hard. You want to work out some kinks and things like that, but I even told Coach Zim, I said, hey, it's as good as you can look, coming out of the box in a preseason game. So. They've done a good job. We still have a ways to go.
Both teams are sort of in similar spots and being so close last year to the ultimate goal. Do you talk to Zimmer at all about getting the team back to climb the mountain again?
No, I think we go through it. We were talking more about what we were planning to do now. And I tend not to try to look backwards, even though a lot of times people are going to take you there. So, we're trying to see what's best now. This is going to be the 2018, which is obviously going to be different. Even though you might have the same faces, the chemistry is always a little bit different on new faces that are in the locker room.
Doug, how much hitting today? You did last year in the win when you had some goal lines. Anything like that planned?
Not right now. Not to my knowledge. Everything's up for discussion. Coach Zim's been great. We looked at the schedule. Hey, if we want some of this, we can do it. We can add it. We can take it out. We can do things. So everything's been very flexible. So, but I don't know that. If I wake up tomorrow and Coach Zim wakes up and we think we should get something in, it's not a problem for us to do that.
How much did you guys talk with the Vikings coaches about making sure the trash talk,
making sure the what?
And scuffling and trash talk doesn't overtake sort of the drills?
Yeah, we don't want to talk across the ball. I mean, that's something that we've talked about to our team before. We don't want to talk across the ball, meaning that, hey, listen, we're just here to get better. We're here to just compete, get better, get evaluations, and go out and get work. So, the players as players, I believe that it's a whole. They're obviously, you have the NFLPA and the players, and we're going to come out here today, and we want to make sure that we represent the players. That they represent themselves in a professional manner, and one that I hope, at the end of the day can be appreciated and turned around to say, hey, these two teams went out there, they practiced hard against each other, and they did a heck of a job. I don't think there's enough of that goes on. A lot of it gets caught in on, the things that go wrong, which is, I understand why that's reported. I hope we'd have the fair share the other way if it goes that way, which we expect it to.
From the outside looking in, what is the perception of Mike Zimmer and the Vikings franchise from the outside looking in?
I got a lot of. Go ahead. Want me to hold it? There you go. Yeah, I have the utmost respect from ownership all the way down to Chris Spielman, to everyone, you know, been around and just watching the moves and watching how this team has come together, you know, from afar. Again, I'm not on the inside. You know, I have a lot of respect for what they're doing. I think they're an excellent football team. They're well disciplined. They're well coached. They have good coaches. You know, and those are the type of teams that, you know, you want to come and practice against. And like I think it was, you asked the question before, was it Zim? Was it, you know, was it Chris? Was it, you know, it's all of that. You know, you want to be up here. You know, I think it's always good. You know, I feel very comfortable what we are with our owner, you know, and then obviously Coach Coughlin and Dave Caldwell, you know, our players. I just think it's, you know, that it's a class organization, and I think they've done things the right way. And, you know, it's unfortunate that there is that that bond that we have right now, you know, with Coach Marrone, with his son working for us, which is a difficult situation really for both sides. And, you know, to be able to come up here and somewhere where, you know, at least for myself, I can't speak for others, but, you know, to be able to see his wife, you know, pay my respects, you know, and for Tony to come back up here, I think it's a very emotional, and I think with what the plans are coming up, I think it's well said. Tony was obviously a line coach. I was an ex-line coach. I had the utmost respect for him. I knew him when I was at Northeastern, and he was at Boston University, so that goes way back. I've always watched, you know, the way his players played, and I've always appreciated and tried to aspire to have my players play the same way or play for me like they played for him. And you know, I think that's a tough time, and I think that's in the back of a lot of people's minds as we're up here working.
What things have you seen from Jalen Myers this past offseason?
Yeah, you know, he's doing a heck of a job. You know, he's fighting like a lot of people. You know, it's competition in camp. You know, he's you know, he played, you know, quite a bit in the first preseason game. You know, really wasn't tested, but, you know, like I told him, I said, I can promise you'll be tested while you're up here. So it'll be good to see him out there and getting, you know, tested to see what he can do.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, great, no problem. Thank you. Yep.